It was as if God was saying to me, if you want a rich, fluid, almost scandalous love for me like you have seen, there are some steps we're going to have to take. And so the first step, as I was living out, is down. The first step is down. And I came to realize this sort of scorecard of sins I was keeping was just semantics and a misunderstanding. And as I was studying for this lesson in a commentary series that was given to me by my dad and then from my grandfather, I found these words. We should always remember that our sense of sin is always vastly below the reality. And when we, in most penitent mood, have really a better opinion of ourselves than the circumstances warrant. Jesus is trying to communicate to Simon that if you have a very low sense of guilt for your sin, therefore of God's mercy, your response in gratitude will be far below what it should be. And what he was trying to communicate to me was that it's not the magnitude of the sin, Cheri. It's not the magnitude. It's a sense of the fullness of your guilt. Are you truly sorry that you did it? Do you recognize you failed before me? And that's what determines our response. Will it be a dutiful, dull, passionless response to God? Or will our sense of guilt woo us into a deeper place with Him? These two characters, the sinful woman and Simon, are both forgiven completely. But they do not possess the same sense of gratitude. Their gratitude is in proportion to their perceived forgiveness. And according to Jesus, there is a direct correlation between our perceived forgiveness and our ability to give and receive love with Him. So if you think about this masterful display that He's dreaming for you, what would happen if you loved little and held a limited view of your need for Him? What would happen to your portrait? Will it be full and complete and stunning, exquisite? No. But what if we were to decide, I want that. I want that scandalous type relationship that we see here in the passage, and that sometimes, on rare occasions, we encounter it in the real course of living. If we love little, we should ask Him about our sinfulness. It's going to be painful. I don't know what you've done, but it's going to be painful. I know what I've done. And then I would highly suggest that you put yourself, and however that plays out for you, put yourself in a posture of penitence. I find it best on my knees. Somehow there is a direct line of communication that occurs when I am just face down. So if you love little, the first step is down. But we don't stay there. I want you to notice again what He says to her. He's ignoring the others. And He says to her in verse 50, Jesus said to the woman, your faith has saved you. Go in peace. So the next step is up. It's up. Your faith has saved you. Go in peace. So we want to get up and begin focusing on Him. And what might that look like? Well, it might look like His goodness, and we can find that in Scripture, the greatness of God's goodness. We can find that in Psalm 105. Enter His gates with thanksgiving and His courts with praise. Give thanks to Him and praise His name. For the Lord is good, and His love endures forever.